All right, let's get right into it. We are going to tackle a question that I'm pretty sure has been asked in every kitchen, everywhere, for generations. Does drinking milk really make you taller? Let's find out.
I mean, come on, we've all heard this, right? It's practically rule number 1 in the parental handbook. It's that promise of a few extra inches if you just finish that glass. But where did this idea even come from?
And that's the big question, isn't it? We're going to dig into the science, peek at the genetics, and see what really happens to find out if this is rock-solid advice or just a really popular tall tale.
Okay, so why do we all believe this? Well, it turns out there's a really good reason, a little kernel of truth that's actually rooted in science. Let's take a look at what's really inside a glass of milk.
Milk is basically a nutritional powerhouse. I mean, you've got calcium and vitamin D, which are absolutely crucial for strong bones. Then you've got protein for building everything else. It even has a growth hormone called IGF-1. So yeah, these are all the key ingredients for growth, especially when you're a kid or a teenager.
So it's true. Milk provides the raw materials your body needs to build a strong skeleton. Think of it like having all the bricks and steel you need to build a skyscraper. But here's the catch. Just having a pile of bricks doesn't magically make a skyscraper appear, does it?
So if milk is just the building material, what's the actual blueprint? What decides how tall that skyscraper can even get? Well, that, my friends, comes down to your genetics.
Get ready for this number. 80%. Yeah, that's a big one. And it kind of changes the whole conversation.
Because what that means is that up to a whopping 80% of your final height is already decided by your genes. Your DNA basically sets a height ceiling, a limit for how tall you can possibly be, long before you drink your very first glass of milk.
But wait, genetics isn't the only non-negotiable factor here. There's another thing that even the best diet in the world can't change, and that's time. For growth, there's a very specific and very real window of opportunity.
The reason for that window is something called growth plates. They're these little areas at the end of our long bones. When we're young, they're active, working hard to make our bones longer. But after puberty, they fuse shut, they harden, and once that happens, that's it. The factory is closed for good, and no amount of milk is going to reopen it.
Okay, so if genetics writes the blueprint and time sets the deadline, where does that leave our friend milk? Well, I think it's time we gave it a new job title.
This is probably the most important shift in thinking we can make. The myth paints milk as the hero of the story, this single magic solution. But the reality is that milk is a fantastic helper. It's a valuable player on a much bigger team. And any helper is only as good as the team around them, right? You can't win a championship with just one good player. Without a balanced diet and an active lifestyle, milk just can't help you reach that full genetic potential we were talking about.
So let's stop searching for that one hero ingredient and start building the whole championship team. What does a real, honest-to-goodness growth plan actually look like?
Let's just take this quick story about Rahul. At first, he's just drinking milk every day, but nothing much is changing. But then, his family starts adding other great foods, eggs, leafy greens, you name it. And he starts doing some regular stretching. And that's when the real growth starts to happen. It's the whole approach working together. And, it all boils down to this. We're so often taught to look for one single superfood, but the real secret is a super diet. It's the complete nutritional strategy that gives your body all the tools it needs to reach the height your genes were aiming for all along.
Okay, let's put it all together. Here's the final verdict. Milk absolutely has nutrients that support growth. Check. But your genetics and your overall lifestyle, those are the real bosses calling the shots. Milk isn't a magic fix. It needs that team of a balanced diet and exercise. And finally, once you're an adult, milk is fantastic for keeping your bones strong. But sorry, it's not going to make them any longer.
So knowing it's about the whole team and not just a single star player really changes the game, doesn't it? It's not about finding one magic bullet, but about building a better, more balanced system. So I'll leave you with this. Now that you know the full story, how will you rethink healthy eating?